Kenya's Chief Justice David Maraga has written to the country's President Uhuru Kenyatta recommending that he dissolves Parliament for its failure to enact a law on gender balance. Maraga's recommendations follows 6 petitions calling for the dissolution of Parliament. The enactment of the two-thirds gender rule was among laws that the Kenyan Parliament was supposed to do within 5 years after the passing of the 2010 Constitution under Article 81B of the Kenyan Constitution. The two-thirds gender principle requires that not more than 2/3 of members of elective bodies shall be of the same gender. At the moment, the Kenyan Parliament falls short by only 23% of members of Parliament are being women. In a rejoinder, Speaker of Parliament, Justice Muturi, said that it was unrealistic to call for the dissolution of Parliament. Well, we're now joined live by our reporter in Kenya, Sarah Kimani. Sarah, thanks very much indeed for joining us. This seems to be quite a move by the Chief Justice. Is this unprecedented? Have we ever seen anything like this before?
Indeed, it is unprecedented, but not unexpected. We knew that the country was supposed to have enacted this law more than 10 years, about 10 years ago, but it has taken this long. It has taken 6 petitions, and the Chief Justice says it is a painful decision, but it must be taken. He says the Parliament has refused to be able to take this decision. And he says there is no other way. If a country cannot respect the laws that it writes itself, then the Parliament stands dissolved because its work is to make laws.
What's been the general reaction by the public? You said 6 petitions. That means there must be a lot of support from some quarters.
Indeed, there is support because there have been 4 attempts inside Parliament, all of which have failed. Indeed, the last one in February last year when President Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto, including the opposition leader Raila Odinga, marshaled their troops to come to Parliament and be able to pass this law. Members of Parliament failed to turn up, and so there was no quorum for Parliament to be able to pass this law. That was the last attempt. Since then, President Kenyatta has been quiet, the Deputy President has been quiet, the opposition leader has been quiet, and so today, people who have sent those petitions to court, a lot of them women activists, lawyers, the Law Society of Kenya, a group calling itself We Are 52%, meaning that the country has 52% of the population as women, are saying that this is the right thing to do. The Chief Justice may have taken too long, but finally he has taken the right decision. However, there are those, especially members of Parliament, who feel that the Chief Justice is continuing with the wars that have been seen between the executive and the judiciary. And so they're saying that, one, the country is in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. There is no money. And so they said this is the wrong time for him to have done it. And by the way, the Chief Justice is going on terminal leave ahead of his retirement. So they're also feeling like this is his last knockout to the executive, which has been, in a wrangle with the judiciary all this time. So very mixed reactions. But a lot of Kenyans saying it is time to teach members of Parliament a lesson. How it goes from here, we will see.
Has the President reacted to this advice that he's gotten from the Chief Justice?
Now, the President is quiet. He has been having meetings. He is at the coast of Kenya in Mombasa, where he has been having meetings with various committees around COVID-19. This evening, the State House released a statement indicating that the President had extended the ongoing curfew in the country until Tuesday next week. But there was no mention of what happened today in the judiciary. So we are waiting to see whether when he addresses Parliament when he addresses the nation on Tuesday next week, he will speak, or whether he will speak earlier than that. But the executive and the judiciary in the country have been at loggerheads since this same court led by Justice Maraga threw out President Uhuru Kenyatta's election victory during the last election, having to send the country back to the ballot. And so since then, President Kenyatta and David Maraga have not been working together in harmony. And so probably President Kenyatta will be seeing this as a continuation of that.
Do we know why there's been such lethargy in trying to get this law enacted? It almost sounds like resistance, actually.
It is some form of resistance. One cannot understand why, because nowhere does the law say that it is favoring women. Indeed, all it says that at any given time, none of the genders in parliament should be more than 2/3 the representation. So for some reason, because women have to, never have the level playing field when it goes to elections, the women are always the ones who are disadvantaged. In the last parliament, there were 18 members of parliament, 11 members of parliament, and in this parliament there are 18. So you see, very few, only 23% of the members of parliament are women. Now the arguments have been that it will be expensive to be able to nominate women to fill these slots that are missing. But the women under this umbrella body called We Are 52% have been able to show that every woman who is nominated to fill these gaps will only earn 58 shillings more. That is just over $50. So they're saying money should not be the reason. Others are saying the parliament will be too bloated. And people are asking, if it is not bloated now, what are the men who are in parliament doing? So it seems to be mainly a war between the women and the men. Indeed, last year, just before the February vote that I spoke about earlier, we saw women wearing white, women members of parliament wearing white and trying to march into parliament. And the Chief Justice, the Speaker of the National Assembly was very harsh to them, saying whether you wear white dresses or do what, that will not change the situation. You must come in and vote, and you yourselves must go out to the field during elections and seek votes.
It's a tough one, but I mean, I suppose part of this would be you're asking parliamentarians to vote for a law that might mean some of them will be out of a job. And we know how well Kenyan parliamentarians are paid. Indeed, and the crafters of this law actually saw it, and I guess they knew that it would be a difficult law to pass. And so there is a clause in that law that says, should members of parliament not enact a law that will make it possible for the two-third gender principle to take effect, then Parliament must stand dissolved. And this is where we are now. Now, whether President Kenyatta would dissolve Parliament and cut his term short, because if he dissolves Parliament now, it means he will cut short his final term by 2 years. Then the country must go into another election in 60 days. So it is complicated. And like you say, I do not see any member of parliament supporting a move to send them to the ballot prematurely. All right. Okay, we'll leave it there. Sarah Kimani, thank you so much. Asante sana. All right, that's our correspondent in Nairobi, Sarah Kimani. This interesting development that's taken place, the country decided that no gender should have more than 2/3 representation in Parliament, but this Parliament hasn't done the work, and I believe at this stage it's sitting at 77% male, and that's probably why it's taking time to change. We'll have more for you after this.